Wade in the water. Wade in the water. Stop that singing. Stop that singing. Y'all stop that singing. Woo! Beautiful people around the world. To keep coming, family. Hope everybody is blessed, well, and healthy, and that nothing but the best is going on in all you beautiful people's life. Oh, y'all see what we got today? Why do people think of slaves? What's the first thing they think of? Black people. Why? 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 Our poor educational system. And hey, I'm wishing the best in all you guys' life. Remember to spread love around the world. You never know what somebody's going through, what they've been through, what they're healing from. And again, we must love each other. We must come together. That's what it's all about. It starts with us, man. We must love one another. And before I click play on this video, I do not care what your skin color is, where you come from, your background, how tall, how short, how big, how skinny, what your age is. On this channel, you are loved. You are accepted. I don't care if you've done anything bad or terrible in the past. You are loved and accepted here. And I am colorblind. I love all, man. We're very diverse over here, and y'all know we have fun and we spread love to one another. So hey, I would love to hear you guys comments in the comments about this video down below. Without further ado, let's get into it, and salute to all the beautiful people around the world, all the hard workers, all the people that have been through the worst, the tough times, that work 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 hours a week, our veterans, our first responders, people that do amazing jobs and careers. I'm wishing the best in all you guys' marriages, your relationships, your friendships, your jobs, your careers, your occupations. Hey, I love y'all, man. Let's get into it.
Slavery is as old as human civilization, dating back beyond recorded history, and it exists even still today. Every culture on every continent practiced some form of slavery, whether it was serfdom, indentured servitude, or collective peasantry. However, when the slave trade is mentioned, people normally think of the black African slave trade to the Western Hemisphere during the colonial period from 1500 to the mid-1800s, as practiced by the European colonial powers. Estimates range from 10 to 13 million Africans being brought to the New World, with around 10 million surviving to be sold in North and South America, as well as in the Caribbean islands. Of this number, the best estimate is that 450,000 went to the British, French, and Spanish colonies in what is now the United States and Caribbean. Brazil alone received almost 5 million, the rest going to the Spanish colonies in South America. Slavery still exists in the world, yet most of the major powers ignore the fact and refuse to even acknowledge that it still exists.
Yeah.
It is still quite active. Yet, 6 decades before the American Civil War, a war was fought by the United States on foreign shores to try and stop the white slave trade. What was the white slave trade? Does it still exist? Who were the Barbary pirates? What was the result of American intervention? How did it occur, and what was the aftermath? And how did 9 U.S. Marines and their mercenaries make history and give birth to a legendary fighting force, while also ending the white slave trade in North Africa?
Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, former soldier, Marine Corps scout sniper, history professor, historian and book author, and we've answered these questions and other issues on this segment of Forgotten History.
Oh man, and shout out to our veterans on the channel. We have so many beautiful, amazing veterans and people that have served, man. Salute to all of our soldiers on the channel. I love y'all, man. And so many of y'all sent me this to react to, and a lot of y'all wanted me to react to it with Bubbles. I might have Bubbles check this video out tomorrow. Y'all know y'all will see OK ads tomorrow, because that's Bubble with Saturdays with Bubbles. Me and Bubbles react to all of you guys amazing stuff that you send in, music, all kind of stuff. So y'all might see this tomorrow with Bubbles. But I'm here because so many of y'all requested for me to react to it by myself. So hey, we're here, man. But again, shout out to my veterans, shout out to our soldiers. Yes indeed. Shout out to our history our history buffs out there. Yes, indeed. Let's get into it, y'all. And if you are new here, join the family, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and again, your comments matter, your opinion, your voice matters, so please feel free to say whatever you like in the comments. On this channel, you are not judged, you are loved. Yes, indeed.
During the late 18th and early 19th centuries, the world was on fire, as France and Britain were engaged in the Napoleonic Wars, which was another series of conflicts just like the 7 Years' War, again involving every nation in Europe. The 7 Years' War was also known as the French and Indian War in the United States. Both these conflicts were fought on every continent and on every ocean and in every colony. Even during these protracted wars, the transatlantic slave trade continued. It was big business. While the European powers were destroying each other, Thomas Jefferson became the third president of the United States from March 4, 1801 to March 4, 1809, and he had several major issues to contend with. The Louisiana Purchase of 1803 from France doubled the size of the United States. The Yazoo territorial disputes in western Georgia were hotly contested. The launching of the Lewis and Clark expedition in 1804 to explore the newly acquired country, and the contested issue of slavery. In 1806, Jefferson denounced the international slave trade as a violation of human rights and called upon Congress to criminalize it. Congress responded by approving the act prohibiting importation of slaves the following year. No longer could slaves be brought from Africa, although slavery was still legal in the United States. Then there were also the rising tensions between the United States and Great Britain, which dominated the final years of Jefferson's second term, as the Royal Navy had been seizing American merchant ships and impressing sailors. However, one situation which has gone largely unnoticed in history was Jefferson being the first president to send the military overseas into direct action, the war against the Barbary pirates. For decades prior to Jefferson's accession to office, the Barbary Coast pirates of North Africa had been capturing foreign merchant and warships, stealing their valuable cargoes and enslaving crew members, while often demanding huge ransoms for their release. Many of these ships and crews were American. Before independence, American merchant ships were protected from the Barbary pirates by the naval and diplomatic influence of Great Britain, which had threatened the use of military force should their ships be molested. However, that American protection came to an end after the colonies won their independence. The Barbary pirates also attacked the coastal northern Mediterranean, launching attacks against France, Italy, and Sicily, kidnapping women as white slaves, primarily and whenever possible, notable wealthy persons and ships for ransom. In their feverish search for white women slaves, a few pirates even went as far as the coast of Iceland, raiding inland to kidnap women and bring them back to North Africa. African slave markets thrived, as under Islamic law, known as Sharia, although fellow Muslims could not be enslaved, non-Muslims could be and were. Over a period of more than 300 years, it is estimated that 1 million white Europeans, to include those captured at sea as well as through land raids abroad, were enslaved. Many of these were Americans captured at sea. In 1794, in reaction to the attacks, Congress had passed a law authorizing the payment of tribute to the Barbary states. Part of that law was the Naval Act of 1794, which authorized the construction of 6 frigates, establishing the United States Navy. By the end of the 1700s, when Jefferson was Secretary of State, the United States had concluded treaties with all of the Barbary states, the Ottoman regencies of Algiers, Tunis, and Tripoli, along with independent Morocco. When Congress authorized $80,000 for Morocco to not molest American shipping, it was considered a good deal, as it was a cost savings when compared to the loss of ships, cargo, and sailors. The Bey of Algiers, Mustafa Baba, also agreed, and many American merchantmen were escorted by Portuguese warships, as Portugal also had a treaty with the Islamic states. But Jefferson was opposed to paying tribute, which he considered to be a modern Danegeld. When Saxon England paid the Danish Vikings not to attack, it did not work. Although Morocco and Algiers initially agreed, just weeks before Jefferson took office, Tripoli began attacking American merchant ships in an attempt to extract further tribute. Jefferson had seen enough. Jefferson tried diplomacy, and his letter to Pasha Yusuf Karamanli emphasized, our sincere desire to cultivate peace and commerce with your subjects. Pasha Karamanli, the ruler of modern-day Tunisia, felt that the Americans had insulted him by not offering to pay tribute. He threatened continued actions if not so respected. Pasha Karamanli was already at war with Sweden, having broken an existing treaty after Sweden agreed to pay annual tribute and ransom for 131 captives. 14 Swedish merchantmen had been seized by Tripolitan corsairs. Some of these were white women who were being transported on Swedish merchantmen, and it is not known if they were ever recovered, as the white women were rarely ransomed. They were highly prized and sold. The Pasha then declared war on the United States on May 14, 1801 by chopping down the flagpole at the American consulate in Tripoli, a direct act of war. Jefferson sent 3 frigates and a schooner under the command of U.S. Navy Commodore Richard Dale as a show of force and to protect U.S. ships entering the Mediterranean through the Straits of Gibraltar. Dale learned of the declaration when he reached Gibraltar on July 1, 1801. From that point, Dale's ships blocked 2 of the Pasha's corsairs operating as raiders and messengers inside the harbor. Yusuf Karamanli was shocked at the American audacity. The Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, Selim III in Istanbul, was also less than amused, yet did not interfere when the Americans became involved. He had just concluded treaties with Russia and Austria and was trying to westernize his empire along western lines. This included eliminating the white slave trade, and this position was not favored by many of his subordinate regional leaders, especially in North Africa, and they launched a revolt against him, and his cousin and successor, Mustafa IV, had him murdered in 1807. He was not about to give up such a lucrative business. The U.S. blockades halted Barbary trade and raids with Europe, but did not stop Tripoli's trade with the other Barbary states. It did, however, incite the other rulers, who considered siding with the Pasha, and they expelled their American diplomats. The United States was putting a major dent into their pirate enterprises, to include the white slave trade. The possibility of Tunis, Algiers, and Morocco joining forces as a result of losing this lucrative business became a serious concern during 1802, but in 1803, Captain Edward Preble was the new American naval commander, and he was aware of the white slave trade and piracy, and he began to deal with it. On September 12, 1803, the USS Constitution arrived off the Barbary coast to confront the Tripolitan pirates. In October 1803, the frigate USS Philadelphia ran aground and was attacked and seized, and the 307-man crew was held for ransom. In response, on February 16, 1804, a group under Navy Lieutenant Stephen Decatur slipped into Tripoli harbor after dark, boarded and set fires that destroyed the Philadelphia. The Pasha, in response, demanded an outrageous sum in ransom for his American hostages, even threatening death if it was not paid. In 1804, Commodore Samuel Barron, aboard the USS President, took command of 11 vessels, and he had new orders. But due to illness, he handed command of the squadron to Captain John Rogers. Jefferson had again seen enough and decided to take direct and immediate action. He sent the order. Ex-Consul William Eaton, a former Army captain who used the title of general, and United States Marine Corps First Lieutenant Presley O'Bannon would lead a force of 8 U.S. Marines and 500 mercenaries to take Darna and free any hostages. These mercenaries were Greeks from Crete, Arabs, and Berbers, opposed to the regime, and started on a march across the desert from Alexandria, Egypt in April 1805. Their objective was to capture the Tripolitan city of Darna. The Muslim troops were under the command of Egyptian Sheikh El-Tahib, the Ottoman Empire viceroy. William Eaton, who was overbearing and not very friendly, kept himself aloof from his men and was in overall command but leading only half the group. He had a tough job controlling the largely undisciplined mercenaries, and the infighting between the Christian Greeks and Muslims, few of whom were professional soldiers, became a problem. His promises of money and loot once they took Darna was looked upon skeptically. However, O'Bannon and his 8 Marines embedded with their mercenaries shared food, hardship, water, and earned their trust. O'Bannon decided to take the Muslims from Eaton, exchanging them for his Greeks. The Marines built a strong fellowship by not denigrating the Islamic faith. They discussed their similarities and differences. O'Bannon also knew that many of these men had either been hostages themselves or had lost friends and family to the white slave trade. Eaton reported in May 1805, quote, "Our only provisions are a handful of rice and 2 biscuits a day," end quote. From March 22nd to March 30th, several Arab mercenaries, under the command of Sheikh Hamid el-Tahib, staged mutinies. By April 8, when he crossed the border into Libya and Tripoli, Eaton had quelled the Arab mutinies, but he could not stop the desertions. In late April, his army finally reached the port city of Bomba, some miles up the coast from Darna, where U.S. Navy warships USS Argus, Nautilus, and Hornet, with Commodore James Barron and Captain Isaac Hull, were waiting for him. Eaton received fresh supplies and the money to pay his mercenaries. Argus gave an additional cannon to the troops. On April 26, Captain Hull's ships then opened fire and bombarded Darna's batteries for an hour. Meanwhile, Eaton divided his remaining army into two separate attacking parties. The attack began at 14:45 hours, with Lieutenant O'Bannon and his Marines leading the attack with 50 inexperienced Greek gunners. Eaton's force was halted due to high volumes of enemy musket fire, but O'Bannon pushed his men through the inaccurate fire, as witnessed from the ships. Carefully interchanging his men into various ranks to fire, advance, reload, and continue the process, O'Bannon's force took the fort cannons. Eaton, wounded in the left wrist, would report later that O'Bannon, with his Marines and Greeks, had, quote, passed through a shower of musketry from the walls of houses, took possession of the battery, end quote. Eaton's forces caught up and turned the defenders' own abandoned guns against them, pushing them out of the city and into a well-placed ambush set up by O'Bannon just outside the main gate. During the entire battle, O'Bannon lost 2 men killed and 3 wounded Marines, with 9 of his mercenaries killed. Eaton's losses among the Muslims is unknown. O'Bannon raised the flag over the captured city at 1600 hours. They had just defeated a force 4 times their number, who were in a fortified defensive posture. And for the first time in American history, that a flag from the United States had been raised on foreign soil. Hostages were freed, and the Navy sank the pirate ships in harbor. Accurate naval fire from Argus and the other ships forced them back, and Darna remained in American hands. Yusuf reluctantly signed a peace treaty on June 10, 1805, aboard the USS Constitution. The treaty granted American ships passage through the Mediterranean without further payments of tribute and freedom from harassment. This also meant joining the other European nations in halting the very active and overt white slave trade. The war was over, and so was active white slavery from North Africa. Marine Corps legend has it that Hamid presented O'Bannon with a Mameluke sword, a sign of prestige and power. Emboldened by this, more European nations also increased their naval presence and resisted the Barbary pirates, stopped paying tribute, crippling their commercial trade and extortion rackets, ending their raids on southern coastal Europe, ending hostage-taking and their demand for ransoms and the white slave trade. Presley O'Bannon and his 8 Marines had done the seemingly impossible. Wow. But it would not be the last time Marines were called upon to do the impossible and succeed. Semper Fi.
We hope you enjoyed this segment of Forgotten History. Please click like and subscribe for free. And please stay tuned. And
shout out to... Why did I... I'm telling y'all, man. In my school, we learned we didn't learn. I don't even think we learned nothing. Oh man, let me read some of these comments. I'm telling y'all, man. Why didn't we have a professor or something like this, man, that broke everything down for you, you know? That kept it real. But oh no, the school board want you to, you know, say this and that and touch on this and that, and then we're gonna give you this book here, not this book over here. We're gonna give you this book here, and make sure the class reads chapter 1 through 10, and make sure you quiz them on each 3 chapters, and to test their memory. But hey, man, I would love to hear you beautiful people's comments. Someone says, as a black man, I have always resented the idea that whenever people think of slaves, they only think of black people. Oh. As you correctly pointed out, slavery was a thing that impacted virtually everyone in the world of all races. Come on now. I am proud. I'm a proud American who loves this country and the men and women of all races who founded it. Yes, indeed. Slavery did not start with white people in America, and America has done more than enough to end the problem of slavery around the world. And that was by GM Major 1273. Someone says, I'm 61 years old, public schools, no college, just a school of hard knocks. I have to admit, I've never heard of any of this before. I'm grateful to you for taking the time to share this story. You've certainly enlightened me today. Thank you and God bless. I feel that comment, man. I am. Yeah, cause we was quizzed on totally different stuff. Yeah, and then we were quizzed on stuff and tested on stuff that really I don't even use in today's time. Yeah, school just to test your memory. Yeah, don't let me open up a school. I'm gonna have y'all in there learning everything. We're gonna learn what really happened, what this happened, how to change a car tire. Yeah, how to do this, how to. You know what I'm saying? Fix this. If you run into a problem, how to hit the nail in the hammer. You know, stuff that we can actually use in today's time. You know, but why aren't schools teaching this? Oh man, look at these comments, man. Slavery is just as awful, no matter the color of your skin. I've learned that many Norman and Danish sailors were captured and enslaved by the barbarian pirates in the 1600s and the 1700s. At one point, the Danish king even had a separate treasure just to pay ransom for captured citizens. They used to collect money from churches all around Denmark and Norway. But the actions of the U.S. Marines described in this video were new to me. Thanks for the information. I can't wait to check this. I want to do because me and Bubbles love to get into stuff like this. So I can't wait to let Bubbles see this video. We might see it tomorrow or next week. It just depends on when how Bubbles feels. But I know definitely she might be up for it tomorrow. So y'all stay tuned and come check us out. But slavery is just disgusting. Race, color and creed. Slavery is painful and heartbreaking. Born free to pay with your life is heart sore. Someone says thanks for telling this history. A lot of people suffered throughout history. The least we could do for them is tell and listen to their stories. I like that comment right there. I like that comment, man. A lot of people suffered, man. A lot of people went through what only we could imagine. People went through pain, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's always a blessing to just take in the stories. That's the least we could do is listen to the stories. Someone says thank you so much for preserving the true history about slavery. I'm so glad I stumbled across this video and your channel. That's love. That's love. But me and Bubbles will be checking this out and kind of just getting more into detail with it. And that's what me and Bubbles love to do. And she loves she loves stuff like this, because sadly a lot of the truths wasn't exposed to a lot of us. A lot of stuff wasn't exposed to a lot of us. And frankly, when I was growing up, I'm gonna be honest, all I thought slavery was us black people. Like was just and I thank God for y'all, man. I thank God that he put me in this position to learn, to expand my mind, to take in this and that, and to hear people out, because I was so one-minded, like I was just stuck in one spot, one spot. And now I know this, now I know that, you know what I'm saying? And it's all thanks to y'all. It's all thanks to the person next to you. It's thanks to the neighbor, People around the world are amazing. I'm telling y'all, we are amazing people. We are smart, educated. We are powerful people. We are a powerful element, a powerful source. We are, man. And it's a blessing. But hey, God bless all of you beautiful people and your families, your kids, your friends, the neighbors, the strangers around the world. I'm wishing nothing but the best in all you guys' life. in your life, that you have an amazing lifetime, that nothing but the best comes to you. And I'm wishing nothing but love and blessings and health in your marriage, your relationships, your friendships, your love life, your jobs, your careers, your occupations. Spread this love, y'all, because you never know what somebody is going through, what they're dealing with, what they're healing from, what they've seen, what they've experienced. Spread that love, y'all. It starts with us. I don't care what your skin color is. I'm colorblind. You are loved on this channel. So, hey, I love y'all, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Please comment down below. Your voice, your opinions matter. I love y'all, and I'll catch y'all in the next one, man.